What if the very rupture that shattered your heart was not a design flaw in your love story, but the precise, intentional keystone in its architecture? Let that question linger for a moment. It feels like a cosmic taunt, doesn't it? To have touched a connection so profound, it rewired your understanding of reality, only to be left standing in the silence of its apparent absence, holding the phantom limb of a soul you swear you just felt. This isn't the typical fadeaway or the messy breakup you can neatly file away with lessons learned. This is different. This feels personal, almost intelligent, as if the universe itself orchestrated a breathtaking glimpse of heaven only to gently, firmly close the gate. And in that aching space, a more terrifying question whispers, did I break the only real thing I've ever found? Here's the secret they don't tell you while you're busy counting the days of silence, replaying memories like a detective searching for your own crime. That collapse, that exquisite pain, is not evidence of a mistake. It is the signature of a sacred process. Imagine for a second that souls, in their infinite wisdom, understand something our human minds, addicted to comfort and instant gratification, consistently forget. A foundation for something eternal cannot be laid upon the shaky ground of who you used to be. The old you, the one shaped by past wounds, societal scripts, and clever coping mechanisms, met a love that operated on a frequency that rendered those old blueprints obsolete. Something had to give. And so, with the brutal grace of a master sculptor removing everything that isn't the masterpiece, the separation begins. It feels like cruelty. It looks like a loss. But what if it is, in truth, the most respectful form of love the cosmos could offer you? A forced retreat so you can finally, without distraction, meet the person you need to become, the one capable of sustaining the very miracle you've been praying for. This is the uncomfortable, glorious paradox at the heart of the twin flame journey. The path to union is paved with the rubble of your own deconstruction. That person you miss? They are both the catalyst and the invitation. Their absence isn't a void, it's a classroom. And right now, in the quiet, you're being given the singular, unglamorous, and utterly vital assignment of a lifetime. To learn the language of your own soul so fluently that if you ever speak again, it will be in poetry, not need. This is where the real story begins, not where it ends. And the first step is understanding why the blueprint for forever looks, at first glance, so devastatingly like a wrecking ball. So, you stumbled into this connection thinking you'd found sanctuary, a soft place to land after all those years of searching, didn't you? You imagined a love that felt like finally coming home, a gentle, seamless merging of two beautiful, completed puzzles. And then, the universe, with its wicked sense of humor, handed you not a sanctuary, but a crucible. Not a comfort zone, but a construction zone, complete with emotional jackhammers, psychological debris, and all the blueprints you ever drew for your identity torn up right before your eyes. That's the first, great, and terribly inconvenient secret they rarely tell you. Your twin flame, your truly compatible soul, doesn't arrive to complete you. They arrive to deconstruct you. They are the ultimate uninvited alchemist, and their primary tool isn't romance, it's a mirror. A mercilessly clear, impeccably timed psychic mirror held up to the parts of yourself you've spent a lifetime cleverly curating, diligently hiding, or outright denying. Think of it this way. In most of your relationships, you're essentially broadcasting on a carefully managed radio frequency. You choose the playlist, the highlights of your personality, the socially acceptable traumas, the charming flaws. The other person, bless them, is listening on their own curated station. There's static, sure, but you can mostly hear the melody you both agreed to play. But with this soul, there's no radio. It's a direct neural link. A soul-level Wi-Fi connection that bypasses all your firewalls and downloads the entire uncompressed file of you, including the corrupted data, the hidden folders labeled Shame 1998, and the angry, unfinished drafts of yourself you never intended to publish. That's the energetic transparency Jung pointed toward. It's not psychic superpowers, it's resonance so precise it acts like an X-ray. And the first thing it reveals is your costume. You know the costume. We all have one. It's the I'm healed and evolved costume, the strong, independent person costume, the easygoing lover costume. You've sewn it with threads of past hurts, tailored it to fit others' expectations, and accessorized it with impressive spiritual jargon. It's a good costume. It's gotten you through parties, first dates, and even entire relationships. But this person, they look at you, and it's like they don't even see the costume. They're looking politely past it, waiting for the real you to show up. And it is infuriating. Their very authenticity becomes an accusation. Their peace feels like a challenge to your anxiety. Their vulnerability feels like a trap door opening beneath your carefully maintained control. This is the catalyst function in its raw, unsettling glory. Their presence in your life makes the performance not just difficult, but utterly exhausting and pointless. You can't pretend you're not needy when their simple silence triggers your abandonment wound. You can't claim you're fearless when their honesty sparks a rage in you that shocks you with its volcanic intensity. That rage isn't about them. It's about the lifetime of times you didn't speak up, the boundaries you didn't set, the truth you swallowed to keep the peace. They just happen to be the first person you can't lie to, because on this frequency, lies don't transmit. Only truth, messy, bloody, awkward truth, has a signal. This is where we wade into the murky, glorious waters of Jung's shadow. Your shadow isn't some evil twin, it's just the emotional basement where you shoved everything that didn't fit the acceptable you narrative. The selfish impulse, the childish fear, the raw envy, the depth of your need for love that feels embarrassingly vast. In casual relationships, you visit the basement occasionally in controlled doses. With your mirror soul, they somehow live down there, and they've turned on all the lights. The conflicts you have will feel absurdly primal because they are. You're not arguing about who does the dishes. You're arguing about the fundamental architecture of your survival mechanisms. You're arguing because their willingness to be emotionally exposed highlights your own reflex to retreat behind a wall. You're arguing because their calm presence makes your internal chaos feel deafeningly loud. They are reflecting back to you, in real time, the disowned parts of your own psyche, your anima or animus, not as a critique, but as a simple fact of your shared resonance. It's like being tickled by a ghost, unbearably irritating, and you can't even see what's doing it. So, you have a choice. You can, as many do, decide the mirror is cracked. You can blame the alchemist for the heat of the furnace. You can walk away, seeking someone who admires your costume and never asks you to take it off. That's a valid path, a path of comfort, perhaps. But if you stay, if you dare to look into that reflection, not at them, but at what in you is being triggered, that's when the alchemy begins. The relationship stops being a romance in the conventional sense and becomes a living laboratory, a dojo for the soul. Every explosive argument becomes data on your hidden triggers. Every moment of profound peace becomes a blueprint for your potential. They are, quite literally, the catalyst that accelerates reactions that were always waiting to happen within you. The love isn't in the blissful merging, it's in the terrifying mutual agreement to stand there, holding the mirror steady, while the other does the hard, ugly work of seeing themselves truly. It's the most inconvenient, painful, and ultimately sacred gift one soul can offer another. And the beautiful, ironic punchline: as you do this work, as you reclaim those shadowy bits, integrate the rage, comfort the inner child, own your need, something shifts. The mirror changes. The reflections become less sharp, less painful, because what's being reflected back is no longer a fragmented, hidden self, but someone more whole. The conflicts lose their nuclear edge. The need to blame evaporates. You realize the alchemist wasn't there to burn you down, but to help you distinguish the gold from the dross within yourself. The union you were so desperately trying to build with them externally could only ever be built on the foundation of the union you forged within yourself. And that beautiful soul is where the real magic waits. But that's a story for the next part of this journey, where we explore what happens when the universe, satisfied with the progress report, steps in to orchestrate the final, perfect, and utterly unexpected reunion. So here you are. The door has closed. The silence is deafening, and the absence feels less like an empty space and more like a physical weight on your chest. You've weathered the deconstruction, faced the mirror, and now, nothing. Radio silence. And the mind, that frantic storyteller, is spinning tales of permanent loss, of failure, of a cosmic joke played at your expense. What if I told you this silence isn't emptiness, but the universe hitting the mute button on the drama so you can finally hear your own assignment? That this separation isn't a prison sentence, but a sacred sabbatical, a meticulously crafted curriculum designed not by your ego, but by the soul's own innate intelligence. This is the phase Jung so brilliantly framed as individuation through encounter, and it's here in the quiet where the most profound alchemy often occurs, far away from the source of the initial spark. Let's get philosophical for a moment. You met, you crashed, you burned gloriously. In that togetherness, the diagnosis was delivered with stunning clarity. Here are your wounds, your triggers, your magnificent, messy coping mechanisms. But trying to perform surgery on yourself while someone else is in the operating room, especially someone you're energetically fused to, is like trying to defuse a bomb while hugging it. The emotional voltage is too high. The objectivity needed to truly transform is just impossible. So the universe, in its infinite and often frustrating wisdom, creates a classroom of one. It gently, or sometimes not so gently, escorts you to your own private tutorial. This separation is not abandonment, it is enrollment, and life itself becomes the professor, the textbook, and the pop quiz, all rolled into one. Think of the synchronicities that start to pop up. Those meaningful coincidences Jung defined that feel like winks from the cosmos. You think of them, and a song they loved plays in a random coffee shop. You struggle with a lesson in boundary setting, and the very next client, friend, or family member mirrors that challenge back to you in a different form. You see their birthday everywhere. It feels like haunting, but what if it's harmonizing? The psychic connection hasn't severed, it's just changed channels. It's now operating through the collective unconscious, that vast subterranean network where truly compatible souls remain plugged in. The dreams you have, those vivid, emotionally charged visitations that leave you breathless at 3 a.m., aren't merely your lonely heart's projection. They are, in Jung's view, legitimate lines of communication across that inner network, preparing your psyche for a future frequency your waking mind can't yet conceive. Here's the real kicker, the part that brings a touch of humor to the heartache. The universe is now giving you homework on the very traits you criticized in them. Ironic, isn't it? You found his emotional detachment infuriating. Wonderful. Now you'll be placed in situations where you must learn healthy detachment yourself. From outcomes, from old identities, from the need to control this very process. You were triggered by her need for constant reassurance? Excellent. Your curriculum now includes learning to generate that profound, unshakable reassurance from within your own spirit. This is the guided, practical leg of the journey. It's no longer theoretical. You're not talking about patience. You're stuck in a traffic jam of life circumstances, forced to breathe through it. You're not discussing self-worth. You're alone on a Friday night, learning to be your own beloved company. This is where intellectual understanding gets kneaded into soul wisdom through the relentless, gracious hands of lived experience. And through this solo pilgrimage, a miraculous shift occurs in your heart. That raw, gnawing need for them, which was really a disguised need for the wholeness they reflected, begins to metamorphose. You start to think of them not with panic, but with a strange, soft gratitude. The edges of resentment smooth over because you're now living the complexity of being human, and you understand in your bones how hard it is to change. You begin to appreciate from afar the very qualities that once drove you mad, because you've had to cultivate a seed of them within yourself to survive. This is the birth of true compassion, forged not in togetherness, but in the humble fires of your own solitary struggles. Your love for them starts to shed its possessive skin. You genuinely wish for their peace and evolution, even if you're not in the picture. And in that release, you stumble upon the greatest paradox. You become more you than you've ever been, whole. Not a half seeking its counterpart, but a complete note capable of creating a richer, more stunning harmony. This entire phase is governed by what I can only describe as a cosmic timer, an intelligent, organic timing mechanism that no amount of manifestation, begging, no desperate midnight texting can rush. Trying to force a reunion before the internal credits are earned is like picking a green fruit. It's bitter, it's hard, and it ruins the potential of the ripe, sweet maturity you were meant to enjoy. The universe is protecting the potential of the connection by protecting you, by insisting you become someone who can actually hold it without crumbling or controlling it. The silence, then, is not punishment, it's sacred incubation. So you breathe, you do the work life places before you. You learn the lessons in the strange, seemingly random classrooms you're assigned to, and you begin to trust, not that they will return, but that you are returning to yourself. And when that self is ready, settled, sovereign, and radiantly at peace with or without the outcome, that's when the most curious magic begins. The synchronicities become so blatant they make you laugh. The internal tug becomes a gentle, sure guidance. But that, my friend, is a story about the architecture of miracles and how to recognize the door when it finally swings open, not from your pushing, but from a grace you've finally grown ready to receive. Let's land this plane together, you and I, not with a dramatic crash, but with a gentle, certain touchdown on a runway you've been building beneath your own feet this whole time, even when you felt utterly airborne and lost. Here's the quiet truth that awaits you at the end of all this analysis, all this aching, all this magnificent inner turbulence. This journey was never about crafting a perfect story with another person. It was about you becoming a completely new language. A language so nuanced, so deeply felt that it could only be spoken and understood in the sacred, silent space between two souls who have earned the right to listen. Think of it like this. You began this whole thing humming a simple, catchy tune, the melody of happily ever after we all learn as children. Then you met your mirror, and the symphony exploded into being. There were dissonant chords that shook you, crescendos that thrilled you, and movements of such profound silence they terrified you. You mistook the composition for chaos. But now, standing here, after walking through the fire of deconstruction and the quiet discipline of your solo practice, you can finally hear it. You're not just listening to the symphony anymore. You have become the symphony. The integration is complete. The separate instruments of your spirit, your courage, your vulnerability, your shadow, your light, are now being conducted by a wisdom that comes from within, not a need that comes from without. This is the destination, regardless of the external circumstances. The union you were so fixated on, it was always the byproduct, not the prize. The real prize is the unshakable inner architecture you've built. It's the ability to stand in your own emotional weather, whether it's sunshine or storm, and know the foundation won't crack. It's the delicious irony of caring less about the obsessive when and if of reunion, and caring more about the quality of your own presence in every single ordinary moment. You've traded the desperate prayer for a specific outcome for a profound conversation with life itself. And in that trade, you gained everything. So, what does this look like in the tangible, day-to-day? It looks like a laugh that bubbles up from your gut when you remember an old argument, because you now see the divine comedy in it. Two souls, clumsily trying to force-feed each other lessons they needed to learn themselves. It feels like a deep, restful breath where anxiety used to live. It sounds like the ability to speak your truth without the sharp edge of blame, and to hear theirs without the defensive armor. The connection, if and when it remanifests physically, will not be a frantic grasping. It will feel more like two rivers, having carved their own distinct and powerful paths through the landscape, finally merging into a wider, deeper, and more peaceful body of water. There's no losing oneself in the other. There's only a breathtaking expansion of the landscape. And here's the most liberating part, the one that truly puts a grin on your face. You are free. You are free from the dogma of the journey. You are free from the timelines, the stages, the constant psychic forensics. You have graduated from the classroom of lack and entered the open fields of wholeness. Your story is no longer defined by a collapse, but powered by a renaissance you authored from the inside out. You didn't just survive a karmic cycle, you learned its secret rhythms, and now you dance to them, not because you have to, but because the music moves you. This path, with all its infamous heartache, was the most efficient, if ruthless, delivery system for your own awakening. It handed you your soul back, polished, integrated, and humming with a new voltage. You are now a living testament to a love that doesn't need to possess to be profound. And that beautiful soul is a victory so quiet, so permanent, and so utterly yours that no separation, no distance, and no external circumstance can ever touch it. You've arrived at the one place you were always meant to be, home, within yourself. And from this vantage point, the view of what's possible next, in love, in life, in purpose, is so vast and so bright, it's almost blinding. But your eyes have adjusted. You're ready to see it.